What's going on, you good humans? Welcome to guest episode 214 of Good Humans podcast with a bloody interesting guy by the name of Tim O'Sullivan. He is a serial entrepreneur and his recent journey and his business is absolutely blowing up. It's called Bae Juice and it's a Korean pear that helps with hangovers. So there's something in a Korean pear, that an enzyme that he talks about in this episode that'll help you with your hangover. So you drink it the night before and then your body metabolizes alcohol better. They're in over 3,500 stores here in Australia, but it's just so cool hearing his story. He's a bit of a rebel. He's gone through, some challenges in his life. He got expelled from high school because he was caught stealing on a snow trip. So obviously that's not a very good human, but he reflects on, the journey that he's been on. His family then started a business, which was really cool to hear about him getting into the cafe space and watching his family business grow. He also shared about a crazy trip that he went on overseas that you're going to have to listen to the episode to hear more about. But then he talks about Bae Juice and also his new incredible business, which he's just launched with his partner called Andie. He talks more about that. This is an incredible entrepreneur journey, all about disrupting the market, all about looking for opportunities where other people don't see them. And a really powerful story that I'm sure you guys are going to love. If you do enjoy it, make sure you give us that 5-star rating, share the podcast with a friend, tell someone who you think will get some benefit out of this episode, because the more we share these things around, the more we can see everybody rise together and become the best version of themselves. Make sure if you enjoy it, you tell anyone about it who you think might find it beneficial. Also, you can head over to thegoodhumanfactory.com. You can learn all about the wellbeing workshops that I run. You can learn all about the merchandise that we sell and the community efforts that we're doing. Also, my book is on pre-sale. It's going to be out very, very soon. October 1st is the launch date. In the show notes, you can find out all about that. You can grab a pre-sale copy, which would mean the world to me, and really show some support to the work that I'm doing. And I'll guarantee you it's going to help your mental health, because I share everything that I've learned all condensed into a book, and it's going to really, do some good stuff for you. That's enough from me. Let's jump into the episode with Tim O'Sullivan. Welcome to Good Humans podcast, Tim O'Sullivan.
Thank you. Keen to be here.
How you going, mate?
Really good, actually. Things are good. Can't complain.
Yeah, well, I'm down here in Melbourne at the moment doing a bit of work. We've been mates for, I guess, a couple of years, and it's been really cool to watch your rise. You created a company with some friends called Bae Juice, which is all around curing hangovers before they happen. I guess, Is that the best way to describe it?
Yeah, hangover prevention, bang.
Hangover prevention. And it's been really cool to watch your journey over the last couple of years, but you've got a wild story. You're a massive personality. You have a really good knack at telling stories. So I'm really excited to get to know a bit more about you today. And the interesting thing is we'd met each other. We were just talking about this off air. A couple of years back for kind of a passing moment a few times. And then my roommates that I used to live with in Queensland, you came over one day because you're friends with them because they're from Melbourne too.
Yeah.
And we just kind of got chatting. And ever since then, I'd followed you on socials and followed the journey. And now I'm just like, we've got to do this podcast soon. And finally we're doing it. We're here in your office in Melbourne. And how's the first question I ask everyone, is what are you grateful for right now today in life?
Grateful for where I am at the moment. I've finally found something I never thought I'd ever find, and it's balance. I've got an amazing partner. I love my work. I've sort of got a bit more time for family at the moment. Walk my dog twice a day. It's in a good spot. And actually my girlfriend asks me every 3 days, she's like, what are you grateful for today? And it's actually sort of really helping implement all the good things I got at the moment. So for me, it's just everything across the board having its nice little place. I've always been a bit sort of chaotic, organised chaos I've always been. Mm-hmm. So everything's always good, but it's just a bit nutty. Yeah. Whereas now it's just like everything's in a good spot. So just sort of grateful for the balanced lifestyle I've sort of created.
I love that little bit of maturity and how good's
it is a bit that you do just get like that.
Start to figure it out a little bit. It takes your 20s to figure out how to adult a little bit.
Seriously, yeah. So I'm 32 next year.
Yeah.
So
same age as me.
Yeah.
What are you, 94?
Yeah, 94.
When's your birthday?
15th of March.
Oh,
what are you?
2 months younger than you.
There you go. It's just wild. So it's been a really nice sort of spot, just sort of maturing, like you said. Yeah, literally.
I love that. It's so cool as well that your partner does a little gratitude practice.
Yeah, how good.
By doing that, it makes you stop and think, wait, there is some good stuff, and you do it consistently, and then you start to look and see more good stuff in your life when you're 100%. Aware of it.
It's awesome. And Caitlin, we're both so busy with our own things as well, and it's just nice. And for the first 2 months, being in an exciting relationship, you're like grateful for you. But now we're like, besides each other, what are we grateful for? So it actually really makes you think about work, family, and all the other things. So it's really good.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. Let's get to know your story then, because you've
Let's.
had quite the journey. I listened to one of your other podcasts before, and it blew me away how many different things you've kind of done and been through in life. So take me back to the start. Where'd you grow up? What was life like as a kid? Siblings, family life? Tell me up until you hit high school. What do you remember?
I was always very lucky. Looking back, I've had a great youth. Always grew up in a great family home, big backyards. There was a pet early days. I've got 2 brothers and a sister. But so my older brother's, 1 year old, 2 years older than me, he's 33. And then I've got 2 half siblings. So same mum, different dad. And a big age gap. So there's like a 10-year gap between us. And that was the best. So I've had like a 2-year older brother I can run around, eat mud and fight and cry with. And then you sort of got the older, mature siblings that bring their friends over and having pre-drinks, and my sister's getting broken up with boyfriends and crying, you know what I mean? So I was sort of around a lot of it, like straight away. And I sort of looking back, it's kind of cool. I'd come home from primary school, my brother would be in his Mitsubishi Lancer, just got his license, gone, let's go get Slurpees, let's go go-karting, you know what I mean? Which is sick. Like, your dad's working, so you don't really get that kind of stimulation. So I had it really good growing up. Primary school, just wanted to play sport all the time, ran around, cried, broke some limbs, the whole typical sort of story, which I loved. And that was in sort of Ascot Vale, Moonee Pond, so not too far from here.
And then in Melbourne for those listening.
Yeah, in Melbourne. And then my parents were quite interesting. They sent me to a really nice private school starting in year 5. So my brother and my sister went in year 7, and they walked into a big, private school, senior campus, and everyone already knew everyone, but they didn't really know many people. So my parents were like, let's get Ben and Tim into Burke Hall, which is like Xavier College's
Prep.
sort of like primary school sort of vibe. So from 5 to 6, I was at a private school. I was catching it took me 90 minutes to get to school in year 5.
Oh, wow.
Like, you're a kid in year 5. Like, you're tiny. That's when your backpack's bigger than you.
Yeah. Wow.
So I was going down Johnston Street, through Melbourne, just to get to school every day. And I'd get home. So I'd get the 7:20 a.m. and I'd get the 4:05 home. Wow. So I'd leave at 7 to get home at 5. I was a kid, and I did that for 2 years, and then moved into the senior campus, which was really cool because my parents were bang on. Like, by year 7, I had a whole clique of friends. All the newbies were coming in, so it was quite nice that they did that. It would have been expensive. It was quite an effort, and it was quite unorthodox to do, but they did that for us, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And then I hated school from then on. Like, played sport, started smoking durries in year 8. Down the laneway. Had a bit of an esche phase, had a bit of a sporty phase.
Bit against the establishment.
It's funny.
I did a podcast with my dad recently, and my dad went to Shaw in Sydney, which is one of the most prestigious schools in Sydney. And he kind of explained, similar to how you're explaining it, it's like it can kind of put you in your path of, all right, I'm going to be the private school, follow the rules, or you can kind of be against the establishment side of it. It sounds like you're on the against the establishment
so
side.
Against it. You're sitting there singing songs in Latin, holding your heart before school, and you're like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what are we doing? Let's just learn some stuff and go, I always found that intense stuff very strange. But the one thing that I did love about Xavier is their philosophy is man before others. So whilst I rebelled, I did a terrible ATAR score and I hated being there. They indented, if you're on a train, you get up for the public, and they really, really got it through you, even no matter how much you rebelled. So it was almost cool and nice to do those things, even though you're a bit of a rebel. So I learned some really good things. So what I got out of Xavier was to be a good person. Not so much the academic side of things, and still rebelling at the same time. So it's quite a weird cocktail.
So you got taught how to be a good person. This is Good Humans podcast. Tell me about what happened in New Zealand in year 10. Sounds like you guys forgot about being a good human.
I did. We did. Yeah, there's a few of us, and that was a serious F the system kind of vibe as well. We were 2 days into a ski trip. My parents were like, oh my God, I'm sick of Tim. Let's get him out. 2 weeks ski trip with the school.
School holidays.
School holidays. You do it.
Yeah. The boys too.
And there's a few other naughty blokes as well that had gotten the sentence. Like, what parents out there are sending rebellious kids on an overseas trip just to get rid of them? Like
14.
You got to think these things through a little bit. But so we went over, skied a little bit, smoking darts, drinking at the pubs, smuggling some alcohol in, and then we just went on this full kleptomaniac spree. Like, we just stole anything that we could get our hands on. And we didn't wear them. We didn't really want them.
You come from a very affluent sort of school.
I know.
It's not like
and everyone already had
probably needed money. You probably got sent with all the nicest gear already.
Seriously. And a couple of kids at like super rich kids at school. One of them was like, I really want that jacket. I just don't have enough money for it. I'm like, well, I'll rort it for you. And you give me half the money for it. So it's a 50-cent discount. He goes, all right. So then I started making some cash out of it, stealing things for kids that wanted items. So there you go, entrepreneurial spirit early and full margins, which is nice. But it was on the last day. We'd been stealing for a couple of days. Even our lunch, we're stealing French fries from this canteen just because we're just on this like mental spree with it. And then on the last day, I can't explain it. It was almost like a movie, like a TV series. Like the foot was on the final step of the bus. That bus was taking us to get our luggage home. And our foot was on the bus and we have this yelling, going, stop that bus, or whatever it is, Kiwi accent, running over. And she's like, speaks to all the teachers going, tell these kids to open their bags immediately. Oh. And we're like, no, let's go. Let's get out of here. We've got a plane to catch. And they pull us aside. Everyone opens their bags and there was just stuff everywhere.
Like heaps of people. How many kids?
I think it was 14 kids at the end. Like some kids, the most innocent kids you'll ever see, just got sucked into it all.
Oh, and just
I was one of the early
bought it off their mate for half price.
Yeah.
They had to pay for it and then still got stitched up.
So, the teachers couldn't believe it. They had to pay for damaged items. We went back to the hotel. Police came. So it was all the New Zealand police. I had to call my mum and dad and tell them, I'm going, hey, Timmy, how's your trip? It's going really good, except I'm with Constable Johnson, the tossing up whether to put a name through a cross through our name for international travel in the future because we're stealing overseas in a different foreign country. And they're like, oh, are you kidding? Like, it's the only thing they just would not have wanted to happen. So that all unfolds. We give back all the items. We come back on the plane and there's literally press floating around the airport because it's, the most prestigious school, kleptomaniacs, $6,000 worth of goods. The next day, it bang, hits Channel 7, 9 and 10, front page of the Herald, front page of every single media outlet.
Just Xavier College students,
names. No names. Xavier College students
15.
Go on shoplifting spree, as if these kids don't have enough already with the education. They go stealing from the poor. You know what I mean? It was just bang. It was abusive. And Peter Hitchener, 6 o'clock news. My parents watch every night and now it's their son on it. Then the principal's getting interviewed. He's disgraced and it was huge. It was such a massive blow up and a mess. And then 4 of us got expelled. Didn't have great track records and they're like, we're going to have to ask you to leave.
Yeah.
My mum and dad, on the way home, I remember it so clearly, we're like, isn't it funny? We just decided that you'd finish your school time at Xavier because I wanted to go to TAFE and do other things. And mum's like, isn't it ironic? We've just decided for you to stay there and you get kicked out. And she kind of was just so overwhelmed with it. She's kind of like, They took it really well. There's no yelling. There's no screaming. Really? They were just like, what are you doing?
Was they asking what are you doing, mate? Why were you
it's just pure disappointment. I was locked in my room.
There's nothing worse than your mum being disappointed in you.
And they knew how to work me. Because my missus always
not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, my missus is like, you're such a Pisces, you're so deep and emotional. Your mum had you on a string. She'd never yell at me. She'd just be like, I can't believe you do that to me. Think about the pair of jeans I just brought, I bought your favourite sneakers and you do that. You're like, so sorry, mum.
Yeah. So in hindsight, do you feel remorse from it? You're like, we're just idiot kids.
So much remorse. But 15, 16, and then my brother was doing year 12 and studying, and he was a genius. He got 98 and didn't study. He's played Counter-Strike all day. One of those dudes. And, he's just getting hounded for 3 months.
Yeah,
what happened, Tim? What happened? Did you get expelled? He's copping. My brother's pretty introverted. I'm extroverted. Yeah. So he's coming into school, getting peppered with people he doesn't even like. Yeah. Asking him a million questions. So crazy moment. I went to a more modest school, St. Bernard's in Essendon. Awesome school. Great kids. Great. Just great all-round school. Mm-hmm. And everyone was good blokes. There was no segregation at the school. Everyone was best mates with each other, whereas Xavier was a bit more segregated. Yeah. Popular, jocks, nerds, you know what I mean? Basically a high school show. But St. Bernard's was amazing. I learnt some really good values from that. So it was a pretty crazy experience. Not many people go through it, but the positive I spin on it now is now I've got double the network.
Oh, yeah, you got the
two schools, two groups of people. And I seem to sort of bump into someone everywhere I go now because it's the different school connection. Wow. So pretty wild.
Crazy school story. So when you were coming towards the end of school, what did you think life was going to look like post school? Like, where did you have career aspirations? Were you like entrepreneur? Were you, where did you think you were going to go after school?
Looking back, my mindset was incredible, which is so funny to say that and say that about yourself. But everyone was so stressed around me, around year 12 for their schools, their exams and what happens. I didn't give a shit. And seeing everyone freak out around me made me more calm about my trajectory and my next phase. I was just happy to get through school. I'd watch my brother get an AFL contract, get delisted. I'd watch my older brother get 98 and do a subject he needed 64, which is music industry, because he's passionate about music.
So it's like,
he could have done anything.
That doesn't really matter. Even
doesn't
if you get the sporting thing, it doesn't matter. You can get
it doesn't
delisted.
matter.
It's like
everyone's freaking out. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go party. I'm going to go party. And party I did. I did
year 11, 12 kind of.
Oh, like back end, but then after.
Yeah.
So I got through the exams barely. I got 39 as my ATAR out of 100, which is awful for, I think each state's different. Very poor. Didn't care. And then after that, went out all the time. I did a trade. I did some landscaping, bit of everything. And then I was actually working at a nightclub. And I was actually visiting the nightclub all the time. And the nightclub owner's like, mate, you're fucking nuts. Like, I need you around the club more often. Just you put on a clinic, everyone gets, drawn to you. You shout drinks even though I know you're the brokest person here. How about I give you a tab, you put on a clinic, and during the week you help me move kegs and paint. I was like, done. I was like, what's your name? And so we just became really tight.
What, do you mind sharing where?
Yeah, so what's that?
What club it was?
It was called the Order of Melbourne. Okay. They had Rufus there before they blew up like 11 years ago or 10 years ago or something like that, which is crazy.
So you're just helping like promote it to the young crew?
Yeah. And I was just there. I was just a bit of a personality around, like if I can say so myself. And then 3 weeks having met him, he's like, I just got out of an 8-year relationship. I'm going overseas. Do you want to come? And I'd only known him for 3 weeks. I was like, he was 28 and I was like 20, just turned 20. I was like, I better ask my mum. I was like, Mum, can I go with this dude who's renamed himself, a name that he wants to call himself, and he owns a nightclub. I work for him, and he wants me to go overseas, and he's going to take me overseas. And my mum was like, oh, yeah, but we need to meet him first. He comes over the next day and meet him. We flew out the next morning. So within 70 hours, I was in Vietnam. And he goes, let's go to the party city, Ho Chi Minh. Cool. We get there. It was like an idiot's abroad. Like, we're in Hanoi. Oh, well, we'll make this work. But he booked the wrong city. So we're in the wrong city. We stayed.
He's going there for a holiday.
We're just going there. We just didn't care. He's just like, I want to go to Vietnam. Cheap alcohol, looks crazy. Let's go. And we went and spent a month there and just partied and just engaged with all the culture. We were trying to go out of city and do nothing touristy. We were just madmen. And then we bumped into an Aussie guy who owned a boat with a pool on it. And we're like, oh, can we throw parties at your pool? He's like, yeah, go for it. Oh, okay. So we fixed the deck, we fixed the pool, painted it, and we started this thing called the Hanoi Pool Club, having been in Hanoi for 3 weeks. And then we were like, let's throw parties here. We don't know anyone. So we're handing out flyers, went to backpackers, we made some local friends. Like 150 people came our first opening weekend. I was 20 years old with like a stack of 20 USD notes. And just the cops would come and like, bang, give them $20 and I'd fuck off. Next, I was 20 years old, bribing Vietnamese police USD to let us keep partying. And I just did it like for hours. It was awesome. We had DJs. I fell asleep behind the bar while I was bartending because I was just so pissed. And it was just crazy. We did it the next weekend. 200 people came. And we're like, wow, man, like we're going to build something here in Vietnam. Like they didn't even know what house music was, deep house music. They'd never heard of techno. They just listened to their
Was
little,
it quite a lot of tourists that were coming to the party?
Yeah, heaps, and a bit of a mix. A
Yeah.
bit of a mix though. Like there's lots of like locals which we were trying to target. We're like, if there's fucking 10 million people, Vietnamese people here, let's try and get Vietnamese people here, not the bloody German backpackers coming and going. And he was a really smart businessman. He'd had clubs, he'd had construction businesses, very
The dude over in
Vietnam
who had the boat.
No. So the guy that I travelled with.
Okay.
So we were staying at a 5-star resort, just living the life. Everyone thought we were basically sleeping with each other half the time. But we were just two dudes just wanting to do cool shit by the time it all happened. And he goes, look, I've been paying for you for 5 weeks. The pool club didn't work out, go back. Go back to Melbourne.
So the pool club didn't work out in the end?
No, it didn't work out. You couldn't have people in bikinis partying, running around, very cultural, communist country.
For so long.
Yeah. So they stopped the partying. And then I go back to Melbourne, get a full-time job in sales. He calls me 2 weeks after I've just settled and gone, hey, come back. I found some lady who wants to put money in. We're going to do way bigger festivals. I'm like, oh, okay. So I quit my job and flew back. He puts me on $700 a month, USD, which is like living it over there. And then we did Peking Duck, Venga Boys, client liaison. We had Daft Punk, dupe guys that flew over. We did a beach festival. We did all these crazy rooftop parties, beach clubs, and we just did 3 months of just partying and festivals and events. I lived in a 3-story hot pink penthouse because the person backing us was a 50-year-old lady who was, a mega millionaire in pharmaceuticals, who basically fell in love with my mate, gave him money to run his events. And then my mate said, I don't really want to hook up with you. So then she kicked us out. So it's just chaos, man. Like, I'm barely even painting half of it. And then the last day we tried to do Axel and Ingrosso, which is like Swedish House Mafia duo out of the threesome. We paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for them. We'd set up in a church. We're doing this one last banging event to try and make some money to win it all back after all the losses. Their manager flew over a day early. He's like, no, this isn't suitable for our artists. We're going to can the event. So they kept the 50,000 USD deposit. We couldn't run a festival, and we flew back to Melbourne, never been back since the next day. And that was it. 11 months of work and everything in Vietnam.
They just had to cancel the festival.
And Axel and Grosso just cancelled. Clapton was meant to play. Their manager called saying he's on a spiritual journey in Bangkok. No one's heard from him for 2 weeks.
No way.
Yeah, it's spiritual.
Crazy.
So it was just this crazy event, and just nothing came together. And then I came back to Australia
at 22 with nothing and
nothing. And then my best mate Liam, who I run Bae Juice with, and we were best friends at high school. I was sort of the only person, that sort of was like, "Yo, you're back, sweet. Where were we?" And we're best mates again. The next day. So. Bit of a roller coaster from school to just going, floating around to Vietnam to coming back and, starting fresh at 22. And then me and Liam just becoming mates, just get stoned all the time, working, chilling, just hanging out, trying to think of ideas, door knocking, doing sales and just floating around. And then it wasn't until sort of 24, my parents were like, all right, we need to help Tim find something. So they basically, not many people know this, they basically brought the cafe to give me a more serious accountability and role. So the cafe was like 40 seated.
Yeah.
And
so talk me through that. So I guess at 24.
Yeah. So I'm jumping here.
Obviously do it okay if they're sending you to Xavier and with 4 kids and stuff. And they're like, hey, let's start a cafe. So Tim.
Yeah, they're like, he loves hospitality. He did a great job with the events overseas. He showed some serious hustle over there. Benny, my brother, didn't have much going on as well. He's sort of traveling and getting all that out of his system. Did 6 months in South America and stuff. My parents were like, let's get into hospitality. My dad had been in sales. My mum was a teacher. Like, let's just get a cafe. We'll build that up. They can retire slowly and we'll see what happens. So that was 7-8 years ago. I was too scared to talk to people. I hid and did dishes for the first 3 months. I was like, fuck, what if I, stuff up orders? What if people don't like me? I was too scared, and I can't believe
big personality.
I know
when it was your own thing, you found.
I know I was just a bit scared with the responsibility and your tradies coming in, being grumpy, sausage roll, latte. I was a bit like, oh fuck that, man.
Yeah.
Getting up at 5 a.m. It's just too much. And then the barista didn't rock up one morning. And they're like, Tim, you got to go make coffee. I was like, I've never fucking made a coffee ever. So I just had YouTube up, just the whole time. And I was just like making coffee, learning real quick. And then I had a bank up and it was just the worst day of my life. And then day 2, I was like, I couldn't mind jumping behind the coffee machine again. I was like, morning, guys. Yeah. And then I would talk my way out of not knowing anything. So I'd talk to people for 5 minutes knowing it'd take me 5 minutes to make their coffee. And then I'd talk to them. I'd learn about them. They liked me. They came back the next morning. And then all of a sudden we like, oh, that's your dad behind the counter. Oh, cool. And then they came in, hey, Peter, hey, Tim. Oh, yeah. Oh, but why is it called Benny and me? Oh, my brother's Benny. Oh, you're kidding. So you guys are all family. Yeah, and then my mum would be around. And then all of a sudden we were chockers because everyone was like, that's a local family cafe with some great people behind it. Then we knocked out 2 different walls from and leases next door to us that was owned by the one family. We went from a 40-seater to 65 to 110, courtyard, function space, alcohol. Then I was doing all the social media. I was working 60 hours a week doing Monday to Saturday, 6 to 6. It was just insane. And then my dad was seeing, all this unfold. Then my brother came back to South America. He was a barista. Then I started managing the floor. And we had this whole family business that was heaving. We were doing like 50 grand a week at one stage. And we were the cheapest coffee in the street and cheapest eggs. That's a lot of volume to be doing 50K a week. And then we did functions, alcohol, wakes, 21st. And we were just this popping spot in a small little street in Essendon called Benny and Me. And that was when I had my first moment of like, oh, we built something here and we did this, with our personalities and our skill sets and designing the menu and being really good owners, but
and
also
people person. It sounds like building that community, being
it all came together, and I was like, this is it. This is me forever. I want to have 20 cafes. I love hospitality. I can make someone's day with just 3 minutes of good energy, and they tell me that. Like I feel like I was having such an impact on people with my energy in the morning. People were telling me straight away that I make their day. Like, so not just doing it out of like that's my thing, but getting the validation straight away as well just set me on a new level.
And it's so powerful, and there's only a handful of people that I know that I'd put in the category of sort of energy and charisma and personality. Like, I put you in like the Fisher League of like, I'd only met you for like once or twice.
Yeah.
You're that person that even if no matter you've met someone for a minute or you've known them for your life, you'll give them the time of day and have a chat with them, be curious about them, be interested, look in them.
Yeah.
Like, it's an art form, and it's something that not many people have. I had another guest on a few weeks back called Nika, who's does like surf reports and has gone viral.
Oh, yeah, I watched him do a Taste Club DJ set at the barber's shop, and he's just rocking. I commented saying, mate, this is the best set ever. And he's like, you're the man.
Same
so
energy.
we've literally gone ping, ping.
There you go. The one person I bring up, you already know.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, him, Fisher, and you, I'm like, you're just those guys when you're around, you're like, oh, I want to be around these sort of people. And it shows that it builds the success in the business. So what's the step from there to Bae Juice? Because I know Bae Juice came around probably only 2 or 3 years after starting this. So you'd started to get your rhythm. You started to get a bit more routine in your life, probably still partying and sending it and having a good time in this time as well. Had you tried any other sort of entrepreneurial things while you're doing that?
Yeah.
And then, talk me through.
So we tried a food truck. We thought of different app ideas. We wanted to get into clothing. We've always wanted to own an alcohol brand because we love alcohol.
When you say we, it's your
me and Liam, my best mate Liam. It was always like, what can we do? What can we do? We hung out every minute of every day, morning and night, more often than not. Then he started working at the cafe, pulling beers at night. So we just surrounded each other all the time going, what's next for us?
And just watching social media, these people going, oh, I made sold my business for $8
million.
What's that one?
I can do 100 million Amazon overnight and, without any experience. Like, all right.
But you see that, and for you, is that sometimes what inspires you? Like, fuck, there's more. Yeah. You'd already started a business and seen the success of just building a brick and mortar hospitality business, but then like the online direct to consumer, what you guys are doing now just opens the scalability up so much differently. For sure. So talk to me about maybe one or two of the failed ones like you kind of just mentioned, and then where Bae Juice came around. Yeah, so we did a food truck in the middle of, like, we'd started Bae Juice a little bit, and then we did the food truck going, let's just make some quick, easy money. We'll get a food truck, we'll put in some money, we'll go to some tradie sites, which we had some ins at, we'll flog them for kachas and coffee, done. It was during COVID, so we're one of the only businesses that could actually open early COVID because we actually were on government sites, so they allowed it. And then we were pumping out for kachas and coffee for 2 weeks because those big government sites, they're so fast at what they pull off, like the road under rails and all these tunnels. Within 3 weeks, they were 2 kilometres that way. And we couldn't move out of this spot. Oh, no.
So then 3 weeks after we were pumping, we were stuck in this spot and they were kilometres down there, like pumping through this tunnel. And we're like, so then we just had absolutely bombed. We still had the food truck for ages. We rebranded it for Bae Juice and we tried to make some use out of it. That was one where we thought we were on, but we didn't sort of think too far ahead. It was just very short-term thinking. What else have we thought of? We wanted to do soju because we were watching Korean culture, the sort of the Korean style sake, that you smash a Korean barbecue and stuff. We really wanted to do that at one stage because there was only like one product in Dan Murphy's when there's like 50 flavors overseas. But then we learned about taxes, how much money we needed to learn. Even just the warehouses you stored at needed some licensing for to store alcohol. So that was too overwhelming. So we just needed something that was not too expensive to set up from like a brand and a legal perspective and a partnership perspective. And that maybe needed one kicker for an order and then we could go and do our thing. And that was when Bae Juice was perfect. But that was an amazing concept how we just fell upon it. I met Sumin, my ex-girlfriend, on Tinder many years ago. She met me on Chapel Street. I was working behind a dodgy bar. She came in and met me. We had a dart. We had her first drink order was a pint and a shot of whiskey. She shotted the whiskey and drank the pint of Carlton. I was like, far out. She's tiny. It would have been like up to my chest, like barely. And she's putting away pints. And then she went to this a nightclub in Melbourne, which is pretty notorious. So she went to Revolver for her first night out in Australia. And she didn't get home until like 8 o'clock in the morning the next day. And she had broken broken English, smoking durries, going to Revolver like we're on. So we hung out. She moved in 3 months later. Like bang, maybe even less. We hit it off a year into our relationship, went to South Korea, met her mum, met her dad, met her whole family. It was a huge, huge deal. Giant 6'4" Aussie dude coming into a very traditional Korean family. And it was just awesome. Like I just had the most incredible culture experience. I did Thanksgivings. I was bowing to grandparents out of respect. I was visiting graves during this, Thanksgiving period. So I had the full tour of Korea in the most amazing way, and I had a really incredible connection with it. I still do. But I was going out every night. Everyone was drinking Bae Juice. Everyone was drinking these little vials. People were having pills, and this whole hangover category was massive in South Korea because they drink so much. So they're sort of low-key the highest drinking country in the world, like per capita, because it's the size of Victoria.
Yeah.
But they all just drink all day and every day, and it's so celebratory. It's a way to connect with co-workers. It's things for you and your wife to do. You go out for a drink, you know what I mean? But it's not to go get absolutely smashed, but it's just go out for a drink.
Yeah.
That's their way of connection. So it's a really beautiful way of drinking, which sounds messed up. And I couldn't believe it. So I was going out every night, getting trolleyed, drinking all these products and having these pills and waking up fresh and then doing it again. I was like, this is awesome, but I didn't think much of it. And I was like, hold on a second. When I go back to like home, I should bring some of this with me. Because I work on a Saturday and Sunday every weekend at the cafe. But I'm always fucking hungover. So this would be perfect. So take it back, give it to Liam. We start drinking it. We look at some research. There's an enzyme in the Korean pear that helps metabolize and detoxify alcohol faster. And it's only in the Korean pear, which is just a yummy, cheap fruit that's been around for centuries, thousands of years. And we're just like, what the fuck? Like, how does that even make sense? Like, it's a fruit. That's it. There's nothing.
Yeah, you don't need to create something.
This is unbelievable. And it wasn't very sexy over there. They sold it with sugar and water in drinks. And so we were like, cool. So we're drinking it, loved it in Oz. We ran out, tried to find it, couldn't find it. Supply and demand, great product. We're like, this is it. This is such a good business.
No one's doing it in Oz.
No one's doing it. This is the best business idea. All we need to do as well is sell it to ourselves because we love drinking. We work in hospitality and our friends are in corporate. Perfect. They all love it. We love it. This is on. So we're like, how can we find 100% juice rather than the watered down sugary version? So me and Sumi just flew to Korea with no meetings, no plan, like 6 months later. We just rolled in, slept on Sumin's family's floor and like, what should we do next? And so then Sumin's dad's calling Korean pear farms and friends that have apple factories and someone who owns a warehouse that stores fruit, trying to find a meeting with people that juice pears. And then Sumi's mum comes out of nowhere. She's like, I got someone, like, all good. So then we get like a 2-hour bullet train somewhere, sleep above Sumin's mum's sister's house, which is a restaurant. We're all crammed up on the floor. We bring a videographer with us to film it all. So we were ahead of our time 7 years ago, like bringing him on the journey. And we rolled into this factory and just like, hey, like I had an A4 piece of paper with a picture of Coles, Woolies and Dan Murphy's, how many stores they are and how much revenue they do each year. And I passed in the paper and I was like, no one sells pear in Australia. We can sell them to all these stores and we can take a small percentage of these sales for our product and it won't affect any of their current sales because this hasn't been done before. And they're like, cool. Here's a hairnet, put on some gumboots. Let's check out the facility. I was like, okay. And I'm covered in tats. Sumi's got face piercings and they are like receding hair, suits, like with like notepads and like ink
factory.
pens. Yeah. Like they were like legit. We do a tour and they're like, if you guys can build a business plan, a brand, set up yourselves, we'll do it. And one of them pulled us aside and said, I wish when I was 26, or 25, I did something like this. We're willing to support you. We're like, holy shit. Couldn't have gone any better. Like, are you actually like fucking with me? Like,
how's that call when you called your mate back here?
Oh, mate.
Spoke to him
we came straight back, business plans. Flew back, whiteboards, everything. And then set up the brand. And then we had our first container get pumped out in January 2019. It was like $27,000 for the 20-foot container we had at that time.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any money. We'd spend all the money on the brand, the business, the legals.
Setting up the account.
And we're like, oh, shit.
Planning, yeah.
And then Sumin's dad's like, I got this.
Wow.
He's like, as long as you pay me back, he doesn't speak any English. He's just like, I got this. I've watched you do this. I was at the meeting. I really believe in this. Cool. Writes a check for $27,000 in a Korean bank. We take the check to the manufacturer, many months later, and we watch the first production run of the products.
So it gets produced over in Korea into the packaging in Korea as well.
Everything.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So it's all picked, filtered, juiced into our finished packaging,
and then
Matt in the boxes, and like holding that product the first time ever was insane. It was the coolest thing I've ever experienced. And they were like hot off the press. It was piping hot. And then we just watched it all get boxed. And then the managing director of the facility's like, let's go celebrate. We went and got crab, drank soju all day. He brought his friends. We got absolutely trolleyed. We went and did karaoke, and no one knows.
Bae Juice before?
Drank Bae Juice before.
Woke up feeling great.
Well, we had it with us everywhere because we couldn't let go of it. We were just so excited. Did karaoke with his other corporate friends, and it was just this big celebration. Then January 2019, it finally arrived. We had no money, no plan, and we squeezed 40,000 units into a small little storage unit next to a dad with his lawnmower and his bicycles and a mattress. And we got 40,000 sachets of juice next to him. And we just started giving them out, taking them to stores, shipping them off to people that would take them, and we just sort of started our journey from there. And it was just chaos.
Yeah, talk me through that part, because starting a business is one thing, and getting the right manufacturer and building the relationships generally takes time. But you tick the hardest box first.
That's what's crazy. Yeah,
not the hardest box. The hardest box is building and marketing and building a brand that people trust and want to go and try and buy. So yeah, talk me through when you do get that first shipment. You said handing them out to people, trying to get them in hand so people can try them.
Yeah.
What was that journey like? Because you said you started the food truck thing in 2020. It's not like it just took off and you're fucking buying a yacht straight away. I listened to another interview. You didn't pay yourself for years.
Yeah, that's right.
So as, for advice for an entrepreneur who's starting, talk me through that 2019, 2020 period, because then you get hit by COVID too. That I'm sure throws a spanner in there as well. So what long was it to were you online and selling straight away in that 2019? A few, or is it?
Barely. So we barely had a website ready. Yeah. We just had stock, and we're like, all right, let's get the website going. I was still working full time at the cafe. Liam was in commercial real estate, and Sumi was a hairdresser, all full time.
Yeah.
And then so we just put thousands of units in the back of Liam's car at the end of each of our shifts. And we made our Bae Juice Instagram, would message all people saying, hey, if you'd like to try the product, we'll come and drop it to your door right now. And so we'd do about 50 deliveries a day.
Just all different influencers sort of
just
people.
Anyone, even our friends. And when we would hand deliver them, we'd say, hey, if you like it, let us know, we'll bring over more. Also, tell your friends if they want to try it, we'll deliver it to them. Then all of a sudden, people started messaging, hey, my friend Damo said, if I message the page, I can get some of this hangover shit. I'm like, cool, where do you live? And he's like, Bacchus Marsh. Like, fuck, it's ages away. Done, we'll be there in 45. So we drive to Bacchus Marsh, and we had no proper sorted out route. We were doing 4 hours and doing 3 deliveries without thinking of a route. We're just so excited. And then it really rippled. We would have done hundreds of deliveries in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, wow.
And everyone was sharing it, posting about it, being like, this is unbelievable. I love it. How cool. No one really understanding the concept of what it is. They just wanted it. Mm-hmm. And then we started really trying to hammer down the website, doing some online sales, picking and packing. And then a friend of ours was the Elias Skin guys. So Manny and James, we'd known from school. Remember the pink clay mask that went viral? Caught up with them and man, this is a slog. What do we do next? And he's like, you need some PR and you need to hammer down some influencers. So they gave us a little connect, said, this is a great way to find some press. So we got our first Daily Mail article with one of their connects, and it was the $4 fruit drink, scientifically proven to help you hangover. And it went live. Pictures of me and Sumin in Korea, pictures of me, Sumin and Liam delivering and doing all this article, all this hustle. And we did 20 grand online all of a sudden.
Wow.
And we were up to 2 o'clock in the morning packing orders. And then the next day was 5 grand. The next day was 3. So over the course of this article going live, we just smashed it online. Mm-hmm. Thousands of people on our websites. We just had it live on our phone, on the TV, on the laptop. We were just so excited. And that was our first kick. And then we had a bit of a database. We started re-hitting and we're like, okay, let's start going to stores now. And then, after work Liam finally ditched his real estate job. He hated it, didn't love it. It was just 80 hours a week for low pay. And so he came working at the cafe occasionally just for some money. And then he would go and like start hitting up stores. We'd go together in the afternoons, or he'd replenish them during the week.
Yeah.
And it was store by store. I spoke about this recently to some younger people. Like, this is like just a bare hand brand build.
Yeah, talk to me about that, because I know you spoke to Steve Chapman. Steve's a friend of mine as well. I'll tell you about when we get off this podcast. I'll tell you about a trip I did with him to New Zealand last year that was sick.
With Tim Laycock and stuff. I speak to Tim a lot.
I'll show you the video.
Yeah, right.
And Carl as well. I'll show you the video after. But talk to me about that, reaching out to other, I guess, people who have success in the space that you're looking. How important was that for your journey to not be scared to ask for answers, and how open were people to not gatekeep information to help you grow?
Yeah, I'll like, because it's your baby, you've got money on the line, it's sitting there, you're so excited. Like, you just do anything to make it work, really. So to ask someone for a little bit of advice, you don't even hesitate.
Yeah.
Because they could say, no, it's fine. I'm at the cafe with rude customers, tough skin. We did door knocking and door knocking sales. So I didn't care. And then I sort of have a huge family, the 2 different schools, people seeing what we're doing. So people sort of were aware it was happening. So they're kind of happy to help as well. But Steve was awesome. I asked him, I was like, hey man, we're doing door-to-door 50 stores. Like, how do I just fast track this? Like, do you have someone you can just introduce me that's 50 instead of me hitting 50 in a row? Yeah. He's like, mate, it's not how it works. He goes, if you show me in the next 3 weeks, you can get 50 doors on your own, then I'll talk to you and I'll help you. And me and Liam are like, fair enough. We're probably not doing the work. That's, like 5 a day.
Yeah.
And like, they're everywhere, the independence cafes and grocery stores. So in a week, we did 50.
Yeah, so how does it work? You go into a bottle shop. So not like, or independent bottle shops, like one by one, just going, hey, we got this. Can we give you 5 boxes if they sell? Yeah,
literally.
So the margins must be somewhat small on them.
Yeah, it's a big volume game.
Yeah, big volume game. Yeah, it's like, what, $3 for one of your
$4 it was at the start. We moved to $4.60 now just with the market.
Yeah.
But we'd walk in saying, hey, you don't have anything like this.
Yeah.
If people are going to buy a $30 bottle of vodka, now they'll buy this as well.
And you've got a 35
transaction. Or they love calling it like a basket ad item. You're not replacing something, you're adding it.
Yeah,
spot on. So we'd give them a 12-pack and go, there you go. We'll let you have full margin. When you sell them, here's our details. We'll come and replenish and we'll sign you up as a vendor or a buyer.
Yeah.
And that was it. And we just did it.
Most of the stores.
Most of them were pretty keen. Yeah. But then we had a lot of struggles as well. Like, people would take the product, don't even put it out. They'd take it home, they'd put it in the bin. So it was never ending following up.
Yeah.
But we sort of ended up getting our 100 naturally, and we never went back to Steve. You're like, oh, sweet, like, this is easy. We found our flow. And for him to know that would be awesome. Like, my job done, like, what a great little pump.
He just pushed your guys' hand.
100%. Like how cool. And we've sort of been in each other's network since and got around each other on LinkedIn and vice versa. So that was awesome. So we got our 100 stores. We're pumping online. Marketing was, a big factor. Sending heaps of product out. And then we were like, let's get some retailers.
What before we go to retailers, tell me a bit more about the marketing, because I know you said you've never paid for marketing, but you've got all these articles and media. Yeah. And I know you've posted about this on your TikTok.
Yeah.
So for someone out there, and I know that you're not much of a gatekeeper of information, you're happy you see that everybody wins if, we get to spread this stuff. So yeah, what's your secret? Because that's even something for me as, the world that I'm in. I'm like, I've never had any media articles written about the 60,000 students I've, impacted, the blah, blah, like, and I know you've got, the thing is, once again, like, I kind of know a few of the things that you're probably going to say now.
Yeah.
But like Steve said, you got to actually go and do it.
Totally.
There's knowing what to do, and then there's actually going and doing it.
100%.
So what was your strategy to get so much media and PR behind Bae Juice?
Early on, it was meeting agencies and getting excited, and then going, cool, it's only $6,600 a month. You're like, what? You're getting these quotes from big PR companies, or oh, we're not interested. You're way too small, and you're like, oh, we'll pay though. But it was just this crazy.
And you start to see how expensive it is.
So expensive.
PR and publicity is massive.
Yeah. So we're like, what do we do? And we sort of had someone get around the product that worked at Broadsheet. So we messaged him on LinkedIn, going, hey mate, like, we saw you ordered some product. Would you be interested in doing story? Didn't reply. Hey mate, just following up, like, we've got a sick story. Here's a photo. Did you know we're completely natural and helps your hangovers? Never been done before. Didn't reply. It's like, all right, one more. Hey mate, like, please, I would love to get an article. We think this would really resonate with your audience. And then he goes, whoa, this is unbelievable. I am so sorry I missed replying. You guys are awesome. Done. Let's jump on a call. Where are you based? Let's meet. I was like, oh, we thought we were annoying him, but he just was missing the messages.
There's a beautiful story in that for people listening. Like,
just persistency, but also thinking we're annoying. And then he was like, thanks for hitting me up. You're like, oh.
Having belief that your story is worth.
What a 360, like definition of. And then he writes a feature on us, our best, sexiest photo ever, a little bit about our story. And everyone's like, oh my God, you're on Broadsheet. I swear Broadsheet 5 years ago was the coolest thing in the world.
What is Broadsheet?
It's like the food and lifestyle and all that sort of media. So it's big in sort of Sydney and Melbourne. And like they'll do all the coverage of the new like cafes and restaurants and stuff. And then so that happened. Then we're like, oh, sweet. So reaching out to people on LinkedIn, then a positive response is getting an article and they love our story. Bang, Urban List, a similar sort of media outlet. Bang, news.com. Hey guys, would love to tell you about our story.
I can't think of it.
Journalist.
Find a journalist, but find them on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And then send them a message with your story there because it's easier to get through them.
And then we're like, oh, what else? Like how do we know to find people on LinkedIn? So then I'd go on to Broadsheet or a news outlet. I'd find someone talking about beverage, hangovers, or partying. And then it says to you who actually is the journalist of that story. Then I'd stalk the journalist and then I'd hit them up with their story and they'll be like, love it.
Yes.
Because they're looking for content at the end of the day. They're looking for things to write about.
It's amazing.
So that was huge. And then COVID hit and everyone started drinking heaps. So we had our articles. We'd had a few runs on the board and then everyone started drinking because they're at home. Everyone's getting gifted money from the government. And then we were sold at the only store. So we finally got our first retail break. Dan Murphy's and Woolies took us on. We gave them exclusivity. We threw the kitchen sink at them. We said, like, you have to have this product. We're in 100 stores. Look at our PR. Look at all of our influencer marketing. We're gifting product out to you. Need to take us. And they're like, all right, we're going to take a risk on you. The juice category is pretty boring. There was nudie juice and daily juice. Cool. You might shake up this category a little bit. Let's do it. So that's something interesting as well for people out there looking for a product or how to pitch the product in. You got to offer something to, like a category. And I always use the example of High Smile with toothpaste. Who gives a crap with toilet paper? You know what I mean? Like they were boring aisles in shopping centres.
Cereal one recently.
Yeah. The Magic Spoon one's really cool. There's heaps of great examples and someone, people were commenting all other references as well. So we were kind of like that early days in the juice category. There's nothing exciting. There's kombucha and juice. So they said, done, we'll take a punt on you. And then all of a sudden during COVID, we're flying. The only stores, sell Bae Juice. Everyone's drinking. People are walking the aisles extra to be outside. So it was, again, timing, blessing, create your own luck kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And then after that, we were just on. Like Woolies was doing really well.
Have you been full-time on that since then? Since like end of 2020?
No, it would have been about 2021 or 2, I reckon. We've only been sort of full-time on it sort of for maybe 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So still at the cafe, still farting around. But it wasn't until then we got Dan Murphy's.
So just the three of you in cafes, in Dan Murphy's and Woolies, and then is that when you kind of left once you got Dan Murphy's?
Yeah. So we had 250 Dans, 1,100 Woolies. Woolies Metro took us. Foodworks was starting to hum a bit more, and all of a sudden we had a couple of thousand stores. And then we were growing so quick, we needed to raise some money quite urgently.
Yeah,
so
to be able to maintain the stock and maintain cash flow so you can
pretty much
service those huge accounts.
Literally.
They probably have longer terms as well on like the terms and shit once you start going huge in different...
Again, luck. Woolies go, hey guys, want to let you know we're changing your payment terms for 14 days because small businesses throughout COVID are getting hammered. And we were like, sweet. So it went from 30 to 14 days, which is just unheard of.
Huge, yeah.
So it was so lucky. And then we had free trade agreements, Korea and Oz, and so many different things that just went our way for some young business owners.
Yeah.
And then we sort of exploded. A few people started TikToking us. We had a couple of million views under the hashtag Bae Juice. We were flying. And it's just sort of been keeping up with demand since. We raised $500,000 to get all the, to maintain our product levels. And then 2 years ago, we're in 3,000 stores. We're flying. We're like, let's go launch in the US. So we raised...
Tell me this part because I've heard briefly this, but...
Yeah, so we raised $1 million. We had a billionaire give us $750K for fun tokens and just he loved the product. He drank it every weekend. Really? So he's like, I'm in. I love what you guys do. I love the product.
Is there anything like it in America?
No, but when we went over there, there was 2 Aussies launching something similar, having seen what we did at Bae Juice in Oz, trying to launch it there.
Oh, no.
So we launched over there. We got a couple hundred stores in Manhattan and Brooklyn. We had distributors. We had everything popping off. We'd been to New York 3 times. It was an amazing 18 months, sort of just last year and the year before. But it was just too expensive. We were wasting $50K on retainers for, 1-year deals with distributors, GMs, PR, marketing, ads. You had to pay to be in store. Then they buy it off you at a lower price. So you're running at a loss to be in stores. It was just cutthroat. And it was at the end of last year, to sort of fast track through that. It was the end of last year, our board. So we report to a board, which is crazy.
Over there?
No, in Oz. So someone from the billionaire's family office represents the board.
So once you raise the money, you had to dilute your guys' original founder shares and build a board to go with the company.
Yeah, and they were like, look, we'll put in 700. We want a seat on the board to make sure things are going well.
Yeah.
We've got the experience. And they said, let's pull out. You guys are killing it in Oz. You need to focus on here more. And then look, you're more than welcome to try again later. So
do they get equity in the parent company?
Yeah, the overall
to help
brand.
Expand to America, and then it didn't work, and now it's like, all right, let's focus on Oz and then try again when the time's right.
Yeah, and we're growing like 20% in grocery, which is massive. Like I know that number doesn't mean much to probably much listeners or me 12 months ago, but we're just growing massively. Like we got some numbers.
How many units have you sold?
We've sold over 5 million units. Like a lot of maybe 100 or 200,000 of those are gifting.
Yeah, of course.
But we've been through
produced over 5 million.
5 million units. We've probably just notched over 10 million in sales. Sort of having done some of those numbers. E-com's a lot nicer. We sell them for $2-3. Wholesale. So pretty wild to think about. And then now we're just going so hard here, and it's been so much better. Yeah. We've shaved off all our overheads. We've had a 3-story office with a small team. Is it just the 3
of you still?
Yeah, Sumin's in Korea and Bali, just dealing with manufacturers and helping us.
And then, if you don't mind me asking, you guys broke up, right?
Yeah. So 3 years ago, we broke up.
How was that with the breakup in the middle of the business?
Massive.
Yeah, I bet.
Day one, Sumin's like, this business is going to go to the ground. Fuck this. I hate everything about Bae Juice now. And then 2 days later, she's like, fuck, well, let's make something happen here.
Yeah.
It was just pure heartbreak. During COVID, we were both separate. It just was not working. It was sort of disbelief, when we sort of agreed to, it was just full on. And she went back to Korea, lived her best life, started, just full breakup glow, started doing boxing. She started working 10 times harder on the business. So it was what it was meant to be. And when we broke up, I said I wanted to work more, not be a better partner at that time. She wanted to go to the movies. She wanted to go on holidays. I was like, we can't. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm small business loving this grind.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'd rather work late and sleep in than go for a coffee day. And it was brutal, but it was. And I was very communicative about that. And then I think what made the relationship sort of blossom between us afterwards was everything I said I wanted to do, I did afterwards. It was never an excuse. It was never, I just want to break up. I want to work harder.
Yeah.
I want to, work more, just to get our relationship, grind 10 times harder after. And I think she saw that. And everything I said I wanted to do, I sort of did. Yeah. So I think she's like, okay, it wasn't me, it wasn't us. It was more the ambition.
Yeah.
And then we've had an amazing relationship since.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's nice to hear that.
Yeah, I've had some partners in between that are sort of a bit uncomfortable with Sumin and me's relationship. We've gone to New York together. We're broken up and I've had a new partner, a couple of years ago.
And you've had to go.
And she's like, you're going to New York with your ex. Chasing dreams with her, experiencing things you can't experience. Really tough. And then I get that. And I was never naive to it. But again, I was tunnel vision. We need to launch in the US. This is potentially generational wealth if I pull this off. Why work 5 years to then sort of tiptoe backwards?
Yeah.
And then that didn't work out. And now my amazing partner, Caitlin, she's got 2 businesses. Sumin lives in Bali with her own partner. I'll probably go overseas to Korea at the end of the year with Sumin and Liam, which will be huge. But me and Caitlin are building our own business. She's got 2 Pilates studios.
Sick.
We spend every minute we can together, but we can because it's so ambition and business focused that every minute together is personal development.
Yeah.
So I've found something massive and incredible with her. Sumin's got her partner, and now it's just this beautiful, harmonious sort of vibe. Liam, my business partner, has got an incredible partner, Holly. She's got her own app called Wavell, killing it. And we just have this fucking super team. And it's really special. And it's something I said to myself starting that I wanted to talk about. And that's years ago, people like, surround yourself with good people. Like, yeah. And now I look at it, one of my closest mates owns an incredible drinks brand. Bobby, I've got a mate who owns a couple of cafes, Damo, Co & Co. Caitlin's like, I can't believe how many friends you have all have businesses. So she's new to my circle in my life. And I've got Liam, Holly, my parents, my family, the cafe.
Yeah.
So everyone you know owns a business and basically switched on 7 days a week. So for her, Caitlin's just wide-eyed, being, this is incredible.
Good to be around.
And now I'm getting great from her noticing that. And now I'm like, wow, true. Now I'm calling my friends more, asking for advice and who do you use for this? And I'm a bit more grateful for my circle now that we are really like-minded people, and it's quite amazing. So that was something walking the dog this morning. I was like, I really need to make sure I mentioned, because it's something I've just noticed recently too.
No, I love that. It's such a great reflection, and thanks for sharing that part of your story. I'm sure it's probably not something that many people would
crazy,
ask,
right?
I was just
add
curious
that to
about
the resume.
Well, because I just knew you've just started a business with your partner, but it's not Yumi, so it's just like understanding the whole circle and everything. I think it's really cool. What about when it comes to Bae Juice? Have you done any like scientific testing on that? Like on it? Is there like, how does it say scientifically proven to?
Well, we let the media do that. We can't say that.
Yeah, of course. Not through your marketing.
So in America and Korea, they know the enzyme, which is called DHM, very long word. They understand it very clearly that it's an enzyme that breaks down alcohol. Here, it's not recognised by FSAN, so Food Safety Australia, New Zealand. So we just have to tiptoe around it. So we're just a Korean pear juice. It's great before alcohol. We can't say why.
Great before. Oh, so you can. So you can't even say it's good for hangovers.
You can be suggestive when to have it, but not what the outcome is.
So you can't even call it like hangover.
No. We used to. We got in a lot of trouble for it, so we've had to bail from all that.
Yeah. Has that made it harder with marketing?
Easier,
really.
Easier. So they always say
if you feel smart enough to think.
But if you can sell something to a 10-year-old, you're on. That's sort of like an old school, hardcore advertising dude kind of thing.
To me like I'm a 5-year-old.
Yeah. And so when people are like, so what's the enzyme? How do you pronounce it? Why do you do it? Like, where do I find information about it? We sacked it and said, drink before alcohol. And everyone goes, okay. That's it.
Yeah.
Everyone said, okay. So our business completely changed when we told people to just drink it before alcohol, and everyone just went, no worries.
Let's see how you feel.
And we're like, wow.
Yeah, amazing.
This is so easy. Like how funny.
I'm like, actually, let's do it now.
Yeah, you've never tried one.
I've never tried one.
These ones are a bit warm behind me.
That's all right. I feel bad that I've seen you building it for years, but for one, I just don't drink that much. And for two, I'm just not that prepared.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit like that.
It's just like, I'm going to... take some.
It's pretty wild. Like, to be honest, I still hold it all the time and look at it and like, this is so cool. Like, I can't believe it. Like, so I still have these little moments, which.
All right. Bae Juice. We're trying out.
Sniff test. Scary.
It's nice. I love pear.
Yeah,
it's
good.
Such a good flavour.
It is just like an apple, like a different apple juice. Some people hate it, man. Some people. But
there's probably people who hate it, but go, I just smash it before so I don't get the hangover.
But we would do sampling in our suits, me and Liam, and people are like, man, tell the people who started this it sucks, and we're like, we'll let them know.
Oh, that's
kind
of
funny.
I'm gonna get some.
Load up
before I drink. I will load up.
So there you go.
So now, if people want to grab it, I'll leave in the show notes your website and stuff. But on Woolies,
Dan's Woolies,
Bae Juice, and Bae means pear in Korean. In Korean, right?
So it took 10 seconds to come up with the name. People spend months.
Yeah.
We're like,
what are we gonna call it?
We're like, how do you say hangovers in Korean? Too long. How do you say pear in Korean? She's like, bear. How do you spell bear? B-A-E. Done. Bae Juice. That was it. How good.
Right when your Bae was like quite viral.
Yeah. Drake was still rapping about, his Bae and all that kind of crap. So we were like, when that fades, we'll own Bae. We saw it as not like getting caught in a trend or anything. We're like, well, we can own it afterwards. So there you go.
That's sick.
Crazy.
Tell me now about your new venture, just to finish up today. Where you're at right now. I know this is obviously popping off, you're growing, but I guess once you become an entrepreneur, I look at it like, not that you weren't before Bae Juice, but when you're building something in that sort of category of e-com and understanding that, you learn so many things like an apprentice, and now you're like, finish your apprenticeship really in like e-com.
Seriously.
So how important is that for you now moving into this new venture with your new partner? Yeah. And how excited are you about that?
It's massive, and before we got on live, we're talking about personal brand and stuff as well. And
tell me about that actually before we get into that.
And it sort of weaves into it beautifully. And I started peppering TikTok with all my little small advice about warehousing, logistics, building a brand with your bare hands, like what it takes. It takes getting outside. You can't just rely on virality. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get outside and you got to do things with your bare hands. And I was talking about, sleepy categories, which is the high smile example. Yeah. I've just talked anything I can think of. I've got a list of 100 prompts and I'd talk about it. And the idea is hopefully it helps one person and then they connect them me with Bae Juice, and then they look on Bae Juice really positively. But I've helped them, and I've helped my brand, and I've helped my personal brand. What a beautiful love triangle. And it meant a lot to me. So I was peppering all this advice, and it started making me realize that I am an industry professional, 6 years in fast moving consumer goods, but being in the trenches with it, not just working as an account manager, on 300K at like a Chobani or a Diageo, you know what I mean? Like, I am an industry professional because I'm in the middle all day, every day.
And you've learned all the different aspects. When you're building a small business,
sure.
you learn how to do everything.
Yeah. So I start talking about it on TikTok flat out, and then Caitlin's just like, I can't believe how much you know about all this stuff. And she's just a sponge asking a million questions about the industry. Like, does it come packaged like that? What are your margins?
And you guys had already been dating at this stage?
Yeah. So we've been dating since, we've sort of known each other since November, so not long.
Yeah.
We literally met the 1st of November. And so like she's giving me, blowing my head up about, knowing everything about the product world, and everyone's giving me some feedback on all my TikToks, and I was feeling really confident, like, wow, like really do. Maybe I should do some consulting in this. And then Caitlin's like, what if we did a product? Like she's got 50,000 followers on TikTok, and she's really great at selling herself, her journey, and she loves trying to inspire other Pilates instructors that want to own their own studio. She's got 2, and she's documented that whole journey so well. So I'm like, she kills it. She's an incredible storyteller and very lovable, really well spoken. We've got the couple duo kind of vibe going, and I've got the industry knowledge. And so we're like, well, what should we do? We started looking at the electrolytes business and maybe doing something a bit more female focused and all these different things. And then listening to a podcast by all sorts of amazing founders. Like my favorite podcast, listening to Sean Wilson, is talking about Bondi Sands. And he's talking about how, fake tanning was, expensive at the time. And you had to go to someone to do it. How can they build a model out that's at home and affordable? Bang, you sell it for $500 million. And then Caitlin's like, well, what if we did like a tanning gummy? What if we you ate something like the beta carotene and all these, different antioxidants help stain your skin? What if we did it in a gummy form? And I was like, holy crap, it's not a bad idea. It's unbelievable. And we could build out a whole supplement range.
And gummies are amazing for margins and for production.
So good.
And you can get so much in them now.
I'm so glad you said that. We've got an incredible...
I watched your video.
That's clutch. That's so good.
I love how you thought I was really smart in the gummy category.
Real consultants like, nah, man, he's like, the timing of this is incredible. Like, we'll be able to fit some incredible antioxidants into it. I'll source this, another incredible product called astaxanthin. You put that into your TikTok search, it'll blow your mind. 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C. It's like a red algae and antioxidant. It's incredible. People are just starting to understand what it is. So that's a core ingredient. Lycopene, beta carotene, all these antioxidants stain your skin from inside you, like pigment your skin fat and help you sort of glow.
Yeah.
You don't get like a Bondi Sands tan, but you sort of eventually glow. Had them for a couple of weeks, samples, really high dosage, was feeling great. My skin elasticity was amazing. I looked a bit glowy. I haven't had them for weeks. And I was like, we're on here. Cool. What do we need to do? 6 years of understanding industry. What we should do, we should get a purchase order from a retailer before we launch. So that's what we're working on. We've got 2 different massive retail meetings coming up. We need a brand that is going to absolutely kill it. We need to sell a bigger picture. So we need a range, not just the one product.
Yep.
So we're telling the people that this is our hero product. It's going to blow up on Daily Mail, which we know how to do. And then we've got 3PL and warehousing all ready to go.
And
so warehousing,
the
PR,
influencer marketing for that is gonna be
ready to go. And then we looked at what's working, which is what's really important for brand owners or small business owners. What's working?
Bringing people on the journey.
Bringing people on the journey, but also looking at what Booth Hair Care did to sell out their ointments. They teamed up with Indie Clinton, smashed it, millions of followers, huge engagement. The PR was around the story, the influencer, and the product. So that's 3-prong approach rather than just, hey, this is what we got and that's it.
Yeah.
So they've hit all different media with all different angles, and they sold 20,000 units in 3 weeks. Each unit's like $50. So it's massive numbers. Then they launched into retail with like giant displays with like 80 units on the ends. So we're like, well, let's team up with a retailer. Let's team up with a giant influencer. Let's build a team out. And that's what we're doing. We've been speaking to some huge influencers, selling them the dream. And the final sentence that gets everyone over the line is, we want to be the Australian version of Lemmy.
Is there one? So there's a version of it somewhere else.
But not the tanning gummy, sorry. The Kardashians have the sleep gummy, a horny gummy, and a gut gummy. It's called Lemmy. It's purple, it's beautiful, it's sexy. They've never done anything in the tanning space or a couple other things we want to do. But we say...
Has anyone done a tanning supplement?
Yes, but it's got the melanin in it, which is bad for you. So you have the melanin, it makes you more tanned.
Yeah.
Ours is sunless. I should have said that at the very beginning.
Yeah, got nothing
sunless tanning, because
so the other ones you take it and then you become more.
You got to go
get
bake.
The sun, whereas yours is you don't need the sun.
You got to go bake in the sun, which is dangerous. So we're trying to revolutionise the ingestible beauty industry. People are sharing our vision. We're speaking to giant influencers. We're speaking to retailers already, and they're like, "Wow!" So we really think we're onto something. So we're going full tilt. Just all in on it.
Balance two big businesses like that.
Bae Juice has found its place operationally. And they're starting to benefit each other massively. So now I've got some ins in more the pharmaceutical space with Andie, and Bae Juice isn't in the pharmaceutical space. And then we're looking at doing new products which could benefit each other. And then the influencers from Bae Juice we now could use for Andie. And then the Andie influencers are so massive. They know what I've accomplished with Bae Juice. They feel a bit more reassured working with us
somebody
as a
who's
team.
established.
They go, this will work, and then we all of a sudden have this beautiful synergy. Here's some Bae Juice. So I'm really seeing it as not conflicting, but it's going to benefit each other a lot. I was really stressed about them conflicting. Really worried about my best mate. I don't want to let my best mate down, and I don't want my girlfriend down. So it's very important to me, but I think I'm going to find a way to do it, and then building out a team for Andie where I'm just sort of overseeing some stuff and helping with where I can. But then there's social media and all the engine in place that just sort of works itself. And that can be Caitlin's full-time hustle.
Amazing. So what's that called?
It's called Andie, A-N-D-I-E. So we're building a persona around about Andie Gummies, Andie Body.
Okay.
So
amazing.
keep an eye out for it.
So keep an eye out. That's going to be
please do.
Epic. Two last questions. One, I just want to, because obviously my world's the world of mental health. This podcast is all around mental health. Today's been amazing, learning all about your journey, learning all about the entrepreneurial sort of spirit you have.
Yeah.
What's your mental health been like along this journey? Because I know with small business, there's some serious stressful things that most people don't see as well. Being someone who's this upbeat personality guy can sometimes have
for sure
something behind it that other people don't see. If you don't mind me sharing, has there been any challenges? And if no, what do you feel like you do to not have that? If yes, what are some of the things you've done to bring yourself back into that healthy space?
So I thought I could be a rock star throughout this entire journey, and I could party and pull off and build $100 million business. I was really in this wave of this is like I'm unstoppable. I can do it all. So I'd party, sometimes wouldn't sleep, go into an important meeting and kill the meeting and be like, I can do anything. Like I can just do this forever now. You can't. It eventually caught up on me sort of about 18 months ago, and I was just tired every day. Got out of a relationship, maybe 18 months ago or 2 years ago now. And I was like, what am I going to do? I was living by myself, had a lot of time to kill, a lot of energy to kill. I needed to get out of a bit of a bad rut. And that was just, drinking frequently, thinking I could do everything. And I started exercising to fill in time and to try and clear my head a bit more. Bang, game changer. Started exercising, but I was still feeling a bit sluggish, and I was looking at what I was eating. So exercise and diet, man. I'd been watching it on Instagram for 10 years, telling everyone, spare me, I don't need it. I've got a fast metabolism and I'm unstoppable. I don't need any of this advice. Got to 30. Ooh, it's getting a bit sloppy, getting sluggish. It would get to 2 o'clock and I was starting to nap, or, I couldn't get up past 9 a.m., before 9 a.m. And I just started running. I started going to the gym. I started eating clean, 3 meals. Started having some supplements. Started looking at some biohacking and having some nootropics and this and saunas. And then I did a run club. A mate started doing ice bars. So I started doing all of it, and I was really happy with myself for doing it. I was promoting that I was doing it. I was bringing other people into the fold while I was doing it. And that was a complete change of mind, probably back end of last year. Just as coming into summer last year, I was running around the rivers.
Sounds like the perfect timing to meet a Pilates girlfriend.
Seriously, right? I know. Very good timing. I started dyeing my hair pink. I was like just rocking pink buzz cuts because I liked it. I really liked it. People would point at me and frown and think I was a bit of a fuckwit for it. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed people like dissing me for it. So I coloured my hair pink, started wearing what I wanted. I exercised more and I felt great in my own skin. I started getting results. I sort of started having a six pack. I started leaning out. I had a bit more of a chiseled face. At the start of this year, I've been trying to eat as much as I can in the last 6 weeks, try to bulk out a little bit. And then everyone was giving me the validation for all my hard work. And I'm very vocal about that. I think it's very important to admit it. I loved the validation. I was putting in the work. I was doing 20 Ks running and walking, and I was going to the gym. And all of a sudden, people were like, "You look great, mate."
It feels good when you've earned it. When you get validation,
Correct.
and you haven't put in the work.
Yeah, and I feel people aren't as admitting to that sometimes as well. I'd go to family meetings like, "Tim, your buzz cut's great. Look at you. You look great." I was clean shaven more. I was just a bit skinnier in the face, and I loved it. So then I'd work harder.
Nice.
So I had the validation, I did the work, I worked harder, and now it's part of my routine. I don't find it difficult. And the thing that I found amazing about having a healthy lifestyle and routine, small tasks then became easy. So things like brushing my teeth, things like flossing became easy because I had energy and I felt good.
Yeah, it became rituals rather than chores.
Flossing, whereas I used to be like, I'll floss once a week. I got some bad gums at the back. Oh, well. But now I'm like, let's floss.
Yeah. A bit of
Psycho.
extra life. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you just have this extra wave and, I'll give my dog an extra walk. Now my dog's happier, sleeps better, doesn't piss on the balcony. So then all the little ripple effects from all the little things. My gums are better now. My dog's happier. I'm seeing my nephews and nieces more because I can be bothered driving an hour to Geelong to watch them play under nines. Whereas I couldn't be bothered doing that earlier. Yeah. Now they're happy at me, looking at me going, amazing. My sister loves me for being such a better uncle. Now I feel better. So isn't it amazing? Just all the little ripple effects.
I'm so glad I asked that question.
Yeah. And I love, because I think about it. I'm a massive thinker. I think. And these are the things I think about when I have a moment.
Have you been partying as much?
Nah,
obviously
barely.
But then does it make it hard with the drink that you're like trying to?
No, not really. Like I just and I've always loved alcohol, pairing it with steak and pasta and having beers to celebrate wins. But we celebrated some wins on Friday and we guzzled piss for 5 hours and went home. And I was like, yeah, it was all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But someone not long ago told me you should always celebrate. Could have even been, oh no, it wasn't them, but saying you're celebrating a win with a win, not something that's going to make you feel shit.
Yeah.
So we did that for a bit, me and Liam. We had some really big wins not long ago, and we'd sort of shake each other's hands, and we'd go out to dinner with our partners, and we'd rest.
Yeah.
Like, what a great way to celebrate a win, rather than go think you're going to go have a fucking bender.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you end up feeling crap. Then Monday, Tuesday, you don't even really onboard your win, and you don't really, give it this justice. So that was another thing too. So no, I haven't been partying as much, but yeah, just those ripple effects I was speaking about earlier, I've identified, and I want more of them.
Mate, I love that. Right? The self-awareness. I'm so glad I asked that question to finish. We could have probably wrapped before that question and not got that whole world, because I'm sure people have seen your story from, kind of against the establishment, high school, few decisions that maybe you're not proud of, but I love that you can share them with an open heart and, honesty, and not try and shy away from your past and those times. Vietnam sounds like a wild one, but once again gave you this Southeast Asia culture that you've realised is a big part of your life now with Bae Juice as well. And then, into starting Bae Juice, the family cafe, like it's such an interesting journey, but it sounds so beautiful where you're at now with this sort of health journey, with a new relationship, a new business on the way, and now this business like killing it. Is the goal to try and grow it to a point to sell it?
For sure. I did a TikTok the other day saying the reason I started this business is to make heaps of money.
Yeah.
Like, you just finally, someone found said it, you know what I mean? Like, I want to make tons of cash from this. We want to sell this for $50 million. Yeah. Whether it takes 2, 3 or 4 years, we just need to figure out what it takes to get there, and then we'll just do the in-between bit now.
Who would be a buyer for that? Would an alcohol company buy it?
Alcohol. I'm even learning about some big food groups that are looking to acquire businesses that have a younger audience, because they're a bit outdated now. So think about, like, for example, you're hearing about, Bega cheese. They're cheese. They're boring, but they need the next wave of generation. So they're thinking about these things.
Maybe bigger cheese or by Bae Juice.
Just as an example though, like they want our audience.
Cheese.
So we can offer something to them that they don't have.
Yeah, cool.
Even though they're a giant, massive listed brand. So there you go.
I love it. You just don't put a ceiling above your head. You just kind of like look around and go, what could happen? Like,
anything's possible.
Anything's possible. But man, it's been an amazing chat. The last question I finish with everyone is the same. So, what does being a good human mean to Tim O'Sullivan?
I love it, because I said at the start, and now it's coming towards the end here, and being a good human's having that balance. I was very self-obsessed with the business, and now I've seen how beautiful it is to be a great uncle to my nephews, to be a great partner, to be a really good son, a good brother, a good friend, a good business partner. That's what it means to me.
To be a good human.
To be a good human. All those things, giving what I can and what I know I can offer to each person and to everyone in my life, being able to offer that is a big tick for me.
Mate, that's so beautifully put. I'm so grateful for this chat. It's been really cool just to get to come down here, catch up, see what you're doing. I'm really excited to have some Bae Juice in my fridge for before I drink, because far out when you get to your 30s, the hangovers are different. Holy shit, I can't leave the house.
That's another reason we don't drink as much, isn't it?
Well, I need to lock out a whole day after going out to drink to do nothing. So
seriously,
Bae Juice is going to help me for those little hangovers, and yeah, really looking forward to watching where the journey goes with the Andie Body,
the gummies.
The gummies. Keen to see how that goes, and just continue to follow your journey. So I'll leave in the show notes the links to all your different things, your socials, your TikTok. go follow and get some advice. But yeah, anything I didn't ask you, any last words you want to leave the audience with?
No, feel free to reach out. It's my favorite thing to do ever. Whether you're wanting to start out, whether you're young, old, whatever it is, anything you want to sort of pick my brain on, I get a kick out of it. And I don't charge yet.
Yeah,
so feel free to reach
consulting
out.
hasn't started yet. Nah,
Yeah.
I'll leave your LinkedIn, I'll leave your Instagram,
please.
I'll leave all your socials, so
Done.
people definitely reach out. It's a pretty rare opportunity, a young founder that's crushing it in multiple spaces between the hospitality, Bae Juice now, and what you've got coming up. To be able to get that advice, like you saw with Steve, it's like they will give it.
I've been passing that exact sentence on right now as well. What Steve said. I mean, actually, get your first 50, then talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's really
Awesome.
cool. So definitely reach out. Thank you so much, and thanks for jumping on the
Thank you.
podcast.
Too good. Cheers, mate.